Hey everybody, welcome back to the couch. Celebratory episode 10. That's 10 weeks. The day you guys see this will be day 185 for me and us living this way. That's 185 days since I played a show. Just 185 days of masks and updates and new updates and fake updates and real updates, and 185 days is a long time. So if you guys are tired, I'm tired too. I'm with you. I got some good news yesterday. We're gonna have to deal with some time traveling on this episode because I'm filming it on a Monday, but you're gonna see it on Wednesday. And in between those days, I will go see my throat specialist. So as I'm filming this, I don't have a ton of new news, but as you're watching it, I might. So, stay tuned. Yesterday, which was Sunday for me, we drove up to Madison and got my COVID test. They put a Q-tip right up into my brain. It really wasn't that bad. It was a strange feeling, but it wasn't terribly painful or anything like that. So if you ever have to get one, don't be stressed out about it. It's fine. And I already had my results last night. I didn't get them till this morning, but I officially don't have COVID-19, which is cool. I wasn't concerned that I did, but something about getting the test, even if leading up to the test you're positive you don't have it, you get the test, and I've heard this from a few people. You get the test, and all of a sudden you're like, but what if I do? And my main concern was that if I had it, or even if I got like a false positive, that would mess with my appointment on Tuesday. So I'm very relieved to say that I got my negative result. And tomorrow at 3:15, they're going to put a camera in my throat and have a gander, which is funny to say, but I'm really looking forward to. I'm excited to hopefully get some answers. This might be our last interaction where I don't know what's going on. Hopefully. This might be the last song I play for you with unknown throat problems. So that's good. I feel good about it. Football's back. I feel good about that. I like football. When I was young, I avoided it because it was one of the many things that got needlessly wrapped up into rebellion. The kids at school that I didn't liked football, so I didn't like football. Or some adults that I didn't care for liked football, so I didn't like football. But then as I became an adult, it's a lovely way to spend a Sunday. I really enjoy it. We sit down as a family and we watch sometimes 3 games on a Sunday. I root for the Packers, but I just like watching football. So I'll watch anybody play, except the Raiders, who I hate with a burning passion. Because as a youth, I lived in Colorado and was a Bronco fan. And I learned that the Raiders are evil. There are just 52 demons on that team. And, I hate them. Because that's the rules. Bo Jackson was cool. He was a Raider, wasn't he? That was a long time ago. Obviously, football is different this year. People are very stressed out about the messaging and the anthem and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not going to get into here. All I will say is that just let people do what they want to do, and enjoy what they do when you enjoy it. I'm sure there's a way to watch football and not ever have to hear what an athlete thinks. But I also I have been told to shut up and sing before. So many times, in fact, I wrote an article about it that got published in the newspaper where I live. I'll try to find it and I'll post it down there for you. I hate being told to shut up and sing because I've never told a plumber to shut up and plumb. Just like, I'm a human being. I was born in this country. I live in this country. I got married in this country. I buy stuff in this country. I'm raising the kid in this country. We're utilizing the public schools in this country. why on earth wouldn't I have an opinion? And I just don't understand why there's this small handful of jobs that doing the job means you shouldn't have an opinion. I'll never understand that. But mainly what I won't understand is this notion. I'm here to tell you guys. I don't think anybody who watches this is a shut up and sing, shut up and play kind of person. I think this podcast probably attracts open-minded, like-minded, forward-thinking folks. But I am here to tell you, excuse me, I am here to tell you, there's nobody that you could ever tell to shut up and sing or shut up and play that's going to do it. It's just never going to happen. Because with the current state of the world, anybody who speaks their mind does so already knowing that they're going to be told to shut up and sing or shut up and play. And by deciding to speak their mind anyways, they're clearly communicating that they're not bothered if you're bothered. So if only to save yourself some time, just don't, excuse me. It's frustrating. But like I said, tomorrow, I'm going to go see the specialist tomorrow. But this is how life has been going. I was listening back to some podcasts because I'm working on something for you guys. And I realized it really hasn't been that bad, but in real life, a lot more often it kind of cuts out or it cracks or it hurts or whatever. So there you go. Don't put off getting your throat checked if you have problems, and don't tell people to shut up and sing or shut up and play or shut up and plumb. Just let people think what they think. I will tell you, football season brings with it one of my least favorite things, which is the marketing. My God, the marketing. Marketing is my least favorite thing on the planet. I hate it because it's loud and it's ineffective, and they're so often marketing. Like, hear me now. There's nothing you could put in a BMW commercial that's gonna make me able to afford it. So even if you put together the best commercial ever and it totally convinces me, I call the bank and they go, oh no, you're not getting a BMW. So I just don't get it. And I never see ads for stuff that I want. And there's like a Wendy's commercial where in the background there's just a bell ringing the whole time, and it sets me into a rage, man. I really hate it. And that's the least harmless kind of marketing. There's the other kind of marketing that might not be loud and ineffectual. God forbid it is effective, because its whole goal is to make you feel worthless and afraid, and only by buying this thing or supporting this person can you be free of your fear and your worthlessness. And it's the worst thing we've come up with. Marketing is the absolute worst thing. And also, they don't have to make commercials for stuff you need or even stuff you really, really want. I've never seen a Martin commercial, but I love these things. And if I could, I would buy 100 of them. I never see commercials that tell you to drink more water, which you should do, or exercise, There's that Crown Royal commercial where they tell you to drink water, but that's only so you won't drink yourself blind. And isn't that kind of sad that we live in a country where we have to pause our entertainment to tell adults to not drink themselves into oblivion? But that's where we're at, I guess. So the marketing is a downside. But, oh, goodness gracious, there have been some upsides this week. And we're going to talk about the biggest one right now while we drink some coffee. I'm going to do it casual. I'm going to do it slow so you guys can see it. Look at this mug. My lady, my lovely wife, she got me a Hey Everybody mug. Dude, how cool is that? I'm very excited. And I was nervous because she told me that she got me something and it was going to come in the mail and that I would love it. And that always freaks me out because I'm not always great at expressing that stuff. Even if I'm feeling it, if I'm really, really excited about something, I'm not like a jump up and down, fling confetti everywhere. Confetti's hard to find. But I was thrilled to get this mug. Thrilled. I love this mug. And who knows, there's a chance that someday we might even offer them to the public, to people that enjoy the podcast. We could all have a mug. And that'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I like sharing stuff with you guys. It'd be cool if we all had a mug. Which brings up, some people have asked why there's no audio version of the podcast. And the simplest answer is that it costs money to distribute the audio version of a podcast. And the idea behind almost everything I do is to keep it as cheap for me as possible, so that when I offer it out to the world, money doesn't have to be that big a consideration. It's the reason the podcast is free, and it's the reason that if you want to, you can hear every song I've released for free somewhere. It's even, you know, I've played several like house shows with no guarantee, just like, well, I'll leave my guitar case open and hopefully people will like what they hear and throw a buck in there. And that's always worked out pretty good. It's not how everybody does it, and that's fine. I think one of the problems with the world right now is that people struggle with the notion that they can do something differently than somebody else, and neither one of them has to be wrong. I don't envision a world where I would ever have like a Patreon page or anything like that, but it's fine that other people do. For me, when you inject just the idea of money into something, it complicates the thing. And it's already complicated enough to make anything and put it out there and try to get people to see it or hear it or read it or whatever. And then if you're going to add this obstacle of, plus it costs $5, or one of the things with Patreon is that you're supposed to give people exclusive stuff. And I can't imagine a circumstance where I think, okay, the song's finished, it's recorded, I'm really proud of it, now I'm going to only give it to a few people. And again, I can't say this clearly enough. Some people do, and that's totally fine. I have contributed to that kind of stuff in the past. Like I've never crowdfunded anything, but I've been on the other end. Like I've contributed to crowdfunding operations, and it's fine. You know, it's just not where I'm at and not how I'm doing things. Funnily enough, last week I talked on the podcast about how I don't even care how the podcast does, because I'm just making it because I enjoy it and I just feel good when other people like it. And then this morning I checked the numbers for the first time in a week, and that was my worst received podcast. It got like less than half the views of anything else that I've done. And I was sad about it. And that's funny. I think the sign of an evolved mind is to be able to transition to thinking something's funny very quickly. I have to think that, otherwise I'm not evolved. But that made me laugh. Just sort of I don't know if it's irony or not, but it's funny that I did this whole thing about, I don't even care how it does, because I'm taking a bigger view of things, and I'm trying to be all deep and philosophical, and then it gets 30 views and I go, nobody loves me. Look at it. God dang it. I love that mug. Another funny thing, just as a side note, is I've been recording at home a lot, and Tori and Ollie have been home a lot, and they've overheard things that oftentimes people don't overhear. Like I was trying to get this guitar part right the other day, and Tori overheard me, just to myself, not in a performative way. This is just how I talk to myself when no one's around. I made a mistake, and I stopped it and I deleted it, and I said, no one's gonna love you if you can't play the guitar good. And she heard that, and she got this little glimpse into how my mind works. Let's do a song. This song is from a record I made called Don't Get Lonesome, which is a Woody Guthrie reference. It's from his list of New Year's resolutions. And the version that ended up on the record is actually just the demo, because I did the demos, and then as we were making the record and we realized that nobody else was really going to play on this song besides my friend Frank, we realized it would be kind of pointless to redo it. And I'm a big fan of catching a song as early as you can and leaving it be. So if you have that record, or if you check it out, I don't think it's on Spotify right now, but it's on Bandcamp for free. If you check it out, what you're hearing there is the demo that my friend Frank then came in and played lap steel on, and we put it out. This is one of the first songs that anybody ever commented on the lyric, which always means a lot to me because the lyric is the thing that I work the hardest on. And in the rare moments that I am proud of myself, it'll be because of something I wrote, not because of something I played or sang or did. So that was a neat feeling to have someone comment on the lyrics to the song and say that they enjoyed that. The song itself, I wrote several months before my son broke his arm. Some people think that it's about him breaking his arm, and I guess that it is, but I wrote it beforehand. And it worked out pretty nice because sometimes I write things and I'm not quite sure what it's about. I just know that it feels true, so I keep it. And oftentimes, way down the line, it is revealed what the song is about. My son, when he was very young, I think maybe like 6 or 7, he fell at school and broke his arm. And I took him to the doctor, and we got the x-ray, and I saw his arm was broken. And that did a thing to my brain that I did not anticipate. And in talking to people since, seems fairly unique. Because a lot of people, especially men, are like, oh, kids, they run around, they fall, they break their arm, but... And I had this feeling of looking at this x-ray and just feeling like I had completely failed at my most important job. My son was literally broken. And my whole reason to be on this planet is to protect him. And he's broken. And I just had this sinking, terrible, terrible feeling of failure and sadness. And I wasn't even there when it happened. It wasn't even like I had dropped the ball in some way, but it was just terrible. And he was great through the whole thing. Our friend Alyssa drew a rocket launcher on his cast for him, and he thought that was great, and he loved it. And it didn't really even bother him that much, and it was great. And I got over it pretty quick. I wouldn't say I got over it pretty quick, but I was able to keep living. But it was a struggle for me. It was a strange feeling, and you do kind of realize, like, he's fragile, and we're fragile, and you also realize that he's tough, and we're tough, and we're breakable, but we're fixable. And it was quite a trip. It's also quite a trip to walk around with a little kid with a cast on his arm when you have tattoos on your neck. You catch a couple glances, I'll tell you that much. Which was weird too. I often forget that I look like this, and I always catch myself wondering, like, what is that guy staring at? And then I go, oh, that's right. I look like a Viking pirate. Oops. This song is called Borrowed Bones. I wrote it about my son breaking his arm before he broke his arm, and of course the joke was, after he broke his arm and the song came true, that I should immediately get to work on my song about winning the lottery, which I have not done yet. Here we go. I keep my stories in the bags under my eyes, and I wear them proudly. Well, I must have walked 15 miles. these borrowed bones. The love of my life, she gave life to our love. April 24th, we made a family out of dust. Another blessed set of borrowed bones. Though they break, it's never more than my love can take. When my time comes, when the air is freed from my lungs, I can die peaceful, knowing our love never does, though it leaves behind these borrowed bones. All right. Thank you guys for listening. That was a tough one. This has been a tough episode. As I drink coffee, which is bad for your throat. I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting some answers. And I'm looking forward to sharing some good news with you guys, hopefully. And appreciate your patience and your support. In the meantime, allow me to thank you with the gift of music. Not my music. Other people's music. I have some nice recommendations for you. The first one is a band called The Horrible Crows. This record is called Elsie. The Horrible Crows are sort of known because they're a two-piece, and half of them are Brian Fallon, who was in a very popular band called the Gaslight Anthem and now has a really good solo career. And I've really enjoyed everything he's done. I happened upon the Gaslight Anthem very early because they toured with Against Me, who I'm a big fan of. So I caught the Gaslight Anthem on their very first record, and they kind of blew up after that, and now they're I guess they're not broken up, but they're inactive. Come on, guy. They're inactive. But he's doing solo stuff now, and it's great. And in the middle of the Gaslight Anthem discography, you'll find this record he made under the name The Horrible Crows, and it's great. It's real moody and kind of smoky and dark and a little Tom Waitsy, but a little soul influenced and all that kind of stuff. Check out the song Ladykiller. We listened to this on our drive to Madison yesterday. It's great for when it's raining outside. Check it out. Next we have Reconstruction Site by the Weaker Thans. The Weaker Thans were a band from Winnipeg, Canada. I love this band. The singer, John K. Sampson, is doing solo stuff now that's phenomenal. And this band is terrific. Definitely one of my favorites of all time. This record is one of my favorites of all time. But the real special thing about this record is when Tori was pregnant and we were preparing for the arrival of Oliver, I spent 6 months having realized that I would get to decide for another human being the first music they ever heard. And I thought that was so cool and such a big deal, and something people very often tend to just kind of blow right past. So I spent that 6 months really thinking about it. And I settled on the very first song from this record. It's called Manifest. There's a decent chance you've seen me cover it. And it was the first song my son ever heard. And he still loves it. But as a baby, you could tell like it had gotten inside of him a little bit. Because we could play it for him at certain points and he would just react to it differently than he reacted to any other music. And the really amazing part of the story is that last year I got to open for John K. Sampson. And Oliver got to come on stage and do a song with me. And I told this story. and just what an amazing thing it was that this guy from another country had written this song that meant so much to me and my wife, and then came to be an important part of my son's life. And we ended up hanging out with him that day and playing music with him, and he gave Oliver a gift that was really sweet, and it was a beautiful moment. A really like a perfect moment. And then finally, since neither of those records are like folky or acoustic, and I know that's kind of what people sometimes expect to get from me, I have another one for you, because I believe that the only point in recommending stuff is that people might like it. I could recommend for you some really aggressive stuff or electronic stuff or things that might make me look cool, but that some of you wouldn't care for, and I want everyone to walk away from every episode of this hopefully with something new, and hopefully with something they like. So, all the way from Scotland, Chris Drever. This record is called If Wishes Were Horses, and it's terrific. It's really, really clean and clear. The way this record is made, the music is still interesting, and it's never like simple or boring, but everything just comes through perfectly. It's just a really nice folk record. Check out I Didn't Try Hard Enough or Shipwrecked. It's really great. Really nice guitar playing, really, really a great voice. And it's just, it's comfortable and cozy, and it just feels good. Chris Drever from Scotland. I love music from Scotland for some reason. So many of my favorite bands are Scottish. I don't know what happened. And then finally, and this is a big one for me, this book is called The Tao of Willie. Don't feel bad if you think it's called The Tao of Willie. I was right there with you for years. And anybody who's going to be real harsh with you about mispronouncing the word Tao just does not get it. But this book is called The Tao of Willie, A Guide to Happiness in Your Heart by Willie Nelson. And it changed my life. I've read this book more times than I can count. I've given it to several people as a gift. I've loaned this copy to several people. If I had all the money in the world, I would run a charitable foundation that just gave this book to everybody. I love everything about this book. And it really does. It kind of teaches you how to just live better. And it's funny, and it's, it's Willie Nelson. It's funny, and it's super readable. But there's deep, powerful stuff in there. And part of my trip is to find alternative ways of learning big truths. Because if something's true, it should show up everywhere. That's what I think. And there are 1,000 quotable things in this book, but I thought I would just share with you real quick. The North Star knows the way of the Tao and never veers from its course. The sun and moon have it and never come to rest. If each of us were as true to ourselves as the North Star, then we'd have the same guidance in our lives that ancient mariners had when they ventured across uncharted seas. There is only one map to the journey of life, and it lives within your heart. The friggin' red-headed stranger, man. I love him. It's just great. Find this book. It's really, really good. And if you don't like it, I'll buy it from you and I'll give it to somebody else. But you will like it. It's basically a more concise, deeper, better, funnier version of what I'm trying to do on this podcast. This terrible, rambling podcast that only 30 people watched last week because I'm a failure. And no one's ever gonna love me. Somebody loves me. Somebody got me this killer mug. All right, that's it. I hope you liked it. I hope you found something you liked. Don't tell people to shut up and sing, because they're just not gonna. And I'll have links to all this stuff below. I'll try to find that article that I wrote for you guys. And hopefully I'll have some throat news for you next week. And a couple weeks after that, I'll have some news for you about a fun little project I hope you guys will enjoy. In the meantime, be good. Take care of yourself. Try to take care of somebody else. And be good. We'll see you soon. Bye.